If you're seeing us live, well, first of all, good for you. You've made a wise choice. It also means that it's Wednesday at noon Eastern time. It is time for the High Noon Hemp Show. Of course, we're on video, whether it's live, on demand, watch it whenever you want, wherever you want. You got Facebook, Temptations Beach. On YouTube, get a Jedi Hemp, subscribe to that channel. And of course, at Temptations on Twitter if you are a Twitter person. The podcast, search it out, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Podbean. Just search the High Noon Hemp Show, and you'll have us in podcast form. I am, of course, Stoner Jesus. He is Beach, the man himself, high above the Temptations in Sharonville, Ohio, the hemp quarters, if you will. Beach, how are things this week in the world of Temptations?
Things are oakley dokley, I suppose. Just
Nice.
fine. It's
I think that's trademarked.
dead in the middle of summer here. Maybe I should call it hempily dopily.
There you
Ooh, I'm not bad, huh?
go.
They are hempily dopily, which is a good thing if you don't know. I did. We were talking about Independence Day last week. Now, ironically, the show was actually on what should have been Independence Day, which was July 6th, which was the day that the documents were actually signed. It is, of course, July 4th. We celebrate Independence Day in this America. Um, and again, I didn't prepare myself well. I could have done an outfit, at least wore my Hemp History Week red, white, and blue shirt. I didn't do that. I was going through my backpack and I found something else that I should have probably shown on that episode, which is my copy. This is a hemp copy of the Constitution. It's got the quotes that I talk about, the presidents and the important people that were fighting for hemp. Like you open it up, and that's the first thing that you get is the George Washington and Thomas Jefferson and whatnot quotes about how important hemp was, which is something that I talk about as far as us becoming a country on its own, fighting the revolution against England, and how important hemp was in that whole thing, and how important it was for the founding states to grow hemp. Again, we did not discover America. We took America over from the Native Americans, and hemp had a big part of that. Unfortunately, I laugh, and I shouldn't laugh, but it's not really funny on the part that the Native Americans were pushed off of their land. It's very interesting that hemp was predominant in that whole thing, to be honest with you. So anyway, there's a little bit more Independence Day stuff I should have had on last week's show, and I didn't. Whoa! And don't move your mouse, Beach, because then things get messed up. I have it perfectly on my screen now for the first time ever. Um, and anyway, so let's get on with it. Let's get on with the product spotlight. I like to say 4 from the store, 1 from my door. Sometimes more. This week we don't have any more. We do have some Colorado hemp honey. These are a nice little CBD snack. As you may or may not know, honey is the only food product on the planet that never goes bad, so these will never go bad. Get some for your prep kit if you need them. I don't know. But Colorado hemp honey, very good stuff. And again, it's got a little bit of CBD, just a little for you. Here's a new product, shiny new product. Chocolate bars should be shiny, I suppose. I don't know. But this is Kilo's Creamery. And these particular chocolate option bars have D8, D9, D10, and THCO in them. Just added these to the lineup in the stores recently, as we're seeing so many more products come out with more and more of these isolates and cannabinoids and whatnot. Very good stuff. I know I've shown these toothbrushes before, but I can't get enough of hemp composite, so I feel like I want to show something made out of a hemp composite every week, no matter how many times you see it. at this point. We're 179 episodes in, um, and at 4 products a week, that's a lot of products. We're
Yeah.
almost up there showing 800 products over the time span of the High Noon Hemp Show. It's crazy. Again, we are obviously in some duplicates because even having the largest selection of hemp on the planet, that's a lot of hemp products. So anyway, these hemp composite toothbrushes, you can opt for a soft or medium bristle, and then the heads come out, and those are replaceable. And so your hemp composite toothbrush handle should hopefully last forever, and your toothbrush just clips in there. Um, I have been using one since I got these in, actually, and I love it. I love it. They also have their brushes are like a ton. I don't know if it was 1,000 or something, but a lot of very fine, and so it's I think better on your gums for sure. One way or another. My dentist actually says so
Yeah.
because they don't even know what kind of toothbrush I'm using, but they say my teeth and gums look as well as they can or better. So anyway, who knows? Who knows? Um, Hemp Star wallets. Got a little bag of wallets again, and this is kind of in the Sharonville location. So there should be a handful of wallets in all of the locations. Hopefully, probably need to do a wallet order. But if you're looking for a wallet and you're in the area, there you go. How about a Hemp Star wallet? Um, and then the one from my home is one that I again just recently discovered. And I don't know if I've ever shown this as far as mine, but this is tribal fiber, my old set of tribal fiber oven oven mitt and pot holders. And so again, we sold a lot of tribal fiber stuff back in the day. Their stuff was like, it was stuff that you would see it like, designed and made quality wise at a finer shop. To be honest with you, and their stuff was, I think, really well priced at the time for what they were doing. I don't believe the tribal fiber exists anymore, unfortunately, but they had really cool table runners, all kinds of like kitchenware, just like this aprons, table runners, oven mitts, pot holders, and things like that. And again, this particular set has to be every bit of probably 15 years old at least as well. And I used them for a while, then I kind of boxed them up and forgot about them, and then I just recently found them. And so they are back in use, folks. Back in use after 20 years or so. At least 10, I should say. I might have been using them up to about 10 years ago. So, good stuff. Good stuff when it comes to the hemp. No doubt about it. Now, dun, dun, dun.
So of course,
Super exciting.
been waiting for some of you I know come here just for this, and everything else is great. It's like icing on the cake, but the real meat of the cake, if you will, if I may use a mixed metaphor, is when I ask Beach a very important question. And many of you already know what the question is. If you're new, well, I'm going to tell you the question just in case you don't know, because I asked Beach, and that's his cue to answer it, of course. When I ask, what are you wearing, Beach?
That's true. If you're curious and you want to know today, what is today's outfit? Because I wear hemp head to toe every day. Now you will know what it is. And this is a very unique outfit. Again, I have chosen my shirt particularly. Now, my hat, again, one of my favorites. You've seen the hat before if you watch the show on a semi regular basis. One of my favorite head case hats, do hemp. This is one of those hats where I have one that is like completely worn and I can feel good about like getting dirty and whatnot. And then I have one like this one that is practically in brand new shape. Um, and so, that's the way that I do some of my favorite hats. Now the shirt, the reason you say, hey, what's going on with this shirt, Beach? This shirt came up from Amsterdam way back again in the day. It was probably 20 years ago. I went over to Amsterdam, and there was a shop, Hempworks, and this shirt is made by Hempworks. And what's unique about it is if you look really closely at my pocket, you will see that there is actually a pack of papers in there. And so this pocket has sewn basically into it a slot that will hold your papers. So you can pull one out at a time, like a little Kleenex box almost. I will demonstrate when I get back to you seeing me again shortly how cool this really is. My shorts, Prana shorts, being held up by a Hempy's belt. Uh, in the pocket there, as always, you'll see my Green Spring Technology pen. Um, Underneath it all, got my Hemptopia briefs with a pair of Hemp Traders No Show socks, some of my favorite no shows, and then a pair of iPath sneaks, some of my more rare sneaks, I would say. When it comes to that, I have another pair of iPath shoes that I have never worn on the show that I just discovered as well. And I'm gonna maybe next week that we'll be showing those. But ironically, I'm pretty sure those are actually a pair of iPaths as well. I wear these on a semi-regular basis. These are kind of like my boat shoes, or these are boat shoes to me, one way or another. So there you have it. If you're curious, what are you wearing, Beach? Now you know on the High Noon Hemp Show here at Planet Everywhere Studios. I am high above the Hemptations location in Sharonville. So here's my shirt. You see my shirt here? Okay. If we do this, go if I can get it. It really holds a king size. I found a small pack. So you just boom. There's your paper. See? Boom. There's a rolling paper. Hey, do you need another rolling paper? I got one right here. So if you're rolling up your CBD flower, your CBG flower, maybe some Delta 8 flower, how's that? Again, I would beg for someone to come out with a shirt like this. And again, I have never seen in all the cannabis related clothing, when they come out like articles, I see articles all the time, best gift for smokers for 420 and stuff. I've never seen a shirt in my life that has a little holder for your papers right there, conveniently located. A lot of the older hemp hoodlam jackets, and I think they still may come. If you open up the inside of a hemp hoodlam jacket, same thing. They had a little slot there. You put your papers. It holds it so the little little papers hold, like, you can't really see it because it's like camouflaged in there. But it's like perfectly out, so I can grab it with my fingers and boom, I have a paper ready. If only I had this shirt on when people ask me for papers, because normally I don't have papers on me.
That's right. Could amaze them. Like,
Yeah,
bam, right there.
And I disappoint a lot of people because they just expect me to have like hey Beach, you got a water pipe on you? No, I don't have one right now. Hey Beach, you got a hookah on you? No, not right now. I don't carry all that around with me all the time. All right, let's get on to some news here and get everybody on their way. Thanks for watching the High Noon Hemp Show. If you're watching live on the Hemptations Beach Facebook or YouTube channel, maybe. I do the YouTube, so if you're on YouTube, you can talk to me there. Facebook, if you post something on the Facebook right now, we'll see it one way or another. Well, former President Bill Clinton is getting in the old CBD game, I guess. I don't know if he's really getting in the game, so to speak, but they did release some results of a clinical trial that they did on the efficacy and safety of CBD. And it was worded just like that, and there's a reason that it's worded just like that, and that's an FDA. I think they're going to go after the FDA with these results to get them to come up with a ruling, what's something on CBD. But basically, what this did was the results of a clinical trial. It was CBD as a treatment for post-operative pain. Okay. And it's so, he said, in his words, they were very encouraging. Research was done at the Clinton Foundation, and what they found was 23% of the participants that were given CBD. So it was kind of one of those blind studies. You were either given CBD or you were given a placebo. Um, and 23% of those given CBD said that they had less pain. And about 25 or so percent said that they had a greater level of satisfaction with pain control. And of course, that's the goal, is to control the pain, and until it goes away when it comes to things like this. This was done. This was done on the guise of finding non-opiate pain relief. That was why the Clinton Foundation actually did this study, was because they were looking and are looking for non-opiate related pain relief, which is the goal, I think, of most, because opiates are, they work, and they work too well. And again, that's the problem. And then the problem also with, to me, in opiates, pharmaceuticals, and opiates, is the fact that they mask the pain. They don't really make the pain go away. They mask the pain, and that doesn't help with the treatment either. That doesn't help you get any better, because if you think you're not in pain, then you'll do things that are still putting your injury in harm's way, or not allowing it to recover properly, which is the biggest issue. You think you're not in pain, and so you don't pay attention to the recovery of things. And this is what this is all about: recovering from surgeries, actually, and pain related to recovering from surgeries, post-operative. So, very promising, even if it's only 23%, 25%. I mean, that's a quarter of the people. And that's just, I don't know how much CBD they were given. They didn't have any really of those details, to see what numbers could be altered to get better results, possibly. But showing promising results, and once again, doing it in a way, I think they're doing this in a way so they can start handing the FDA these studies. Clinical trials, which is more important. Clinical trials are more important than studies, I think, one way or another. And I do believe the FDA should look at it that way as well. So the more clinical trials that we actually have supporting CBD and its safety and its efficacy, which is really efficiency, to get the FDA, who's still, sitting on their hands, or, just totally ignoring the issue, years into this already, and being pressured from every angle that they can. This is just another angle of how the FDA, I think, eventually needs to be pressured, one way or another, to do something. Well, I was so excited to see that Xander Schauffele, who won the Genesis Scottish Open, was wearing a hemp Adidas belt, but I was bummed that it was just the color of the belt. But that's how they described it. I mean, that's how it is described at Adidas website, even as Adidas hemp belt, or hemp Adidas belt, or something. But it's just a colorway. Just a colorway, not an actual, and it's a stretch thing. So I don't think hemp would really work well for a stretch material, one way or another. But anyway, this is kind of cool. Nike is bringing back I sent you a picture. There it is. The 2004 Nike Air Max 1, called the Crep. And I've been talking about these. And so now the lighter pieces are what is the hemp, which is interesting. So the piece on the toe, the light piece on the It's like the dark piece and then the light piece. That's it. And then up on the top upper part, and I think the tongues are made out of hemp. Um, Here is my pair of 2004 Nike Air Max ones. Um, the version that I have. And it's pretty close. You can definitely see where that hemp is a different, much darker
Hmm.
material in mine. Still using that kind of baby blue colorway on the back. I didn't show that picture, but it doesn't. The only thing mine's really missing to be pretty darn close to that one is that baby blue swoosh. Um, and so, um, unfortunately, mine you need some serious repair in the heels. One of them is it just didn't wear them enough, and the glues have gone bad, I would say. Um, and so, but it's getting a new life. The Nike Air Max One, and again, Nike's been releasing a lot of shoes over the last year or two with hemp fabric, hemp material in them, as I have shown. It's true. Well, Brittany Griner, we haven't really figured it all out, but she did plead guilty. She had to plead guilty to having hashish oil.
Hmm.
Okay. Now, again, my understanding, and I don't have the full details, was that it was CBD. Now, being Russia, they find out CBD comes from cannabis, and all of a sudden it's just classified as hash oil because of the form it was in, because you had a vape. And those were the charges. She's been in jail, prison over there, 3 or 4 months at least three, and they are still holding her, although she um, pleaded guilty, and they were hoping again once they proved that this was not about her trying to bring in a large quantity of hash oil, um, as to what the further steps were. And so I don't know if they're still trying to figure that out. Obviously, she wasn't over there trying to sell drugs
Yeah.
um, to Russians. She was over there because they had her come over there to play basketball, because that's what she does for a living. And so, um, again, I find it very hard to believe. And again, we can't talk to the Russians. We can't negotiate anything with the Russians. We really can't do anything on her behalf to try to speed this process up because of the war that Russia is currently still fighting. Um, and so, hopefully, Brittany Griner will be coming home soon. I think she's spent enough time over there for a personal amount of, even if it was hash oil,
Yeah.
a personal amount of that. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'll keep everybody updated. But I did know she did plead guilty, but they are still holding her, as far as I know. Hopefully that will end soon, and she'll get to come home. I talked about the Wellen hemp shirts last week. They are on sale at huckberry.com. Huckberry, HUCKBERRY.com. If you want to go and get one of those on sale still at huckberry.com. Speaking of sales, not a sale, but I did talk about just recently Volbax. I believe that's how you pronounce their company, Volbac, and how they had a hemp T-shirt that they were using an algae dye on to make a black hemp T-shirt in a very earth-friendly way. Well, um, I suppose in a 180-degree turn from that, their now raw hemp collection, which I think I sent some pics of. Here it um, is organic hemp and organic cotton undyed. So, to me, and I think once again, I think they use the organic cotton um, to bring the price down. Ironically, even though organic cotton is not that cheap, because there's not a whole lot of it. Most cotton uses a ton of chemicals. Ton. And when I say a ton, I mean million or hundreds of tons. In all honesty, it's the leading user of all herbicides and pesticides of all agricultural crops on the planet. You should know that if you watch the show. If you don't, cotton is the leading killer of our planet as far as agricultural crops that we can grow. I should say, just just dumping chemicals in the ground all day long. And to make a cotton t-shirt, my understanding is the amount of water it takes all in all to do that is just crazy.
Mhm.
Um, but you know, here's Volbak. Vollebak is how that's spelled. Um, Raw hemp collection, organic hemp, organic cotton, undyed. And I think there's a hoodie, there's pants, and then the pair of shorts. Hopefully, those shorts are made out of the material as well. I know that the sweatpants and the hoodie is, and hopefully that is that a long sleeve. I guess it's a long sleeve kind of shirt he's got on
Yeah.
as well. So all that's supposed to be made out of this material, which is some of the cleanest material that I have heard or seen yet. To be honest with you, organic and undyed. It's great. Great, good for them. Um, I might need to find one of their hoodies. I'd be afraid to buy an all white hoodie these days, man. I'm always spilling stuff on me. No, I don't feel like I'm really a clumsy person, but the older I get, the more it seems like one way or another. Here is another first. We see a lot of firsts, and I don't really like to use the word first when it comes to stuff because, hemp has been around for 10,000 years. But claiming to be the first hempcrete house, licensed hempcrete house in the state of Michigan. And so this is, I believe I sent a picture of like the wall, how they're doing it. So this is kind of, they build a frame and then they spray it in. They're spraying in the hempcrete for the walls. This is a company called Fiberfort and Americanre. I don't know, Americanre cast hemp. Um, and so I'm not sure exactly how they're. I would almost say it's supposed to be chanvre, and I'm not sure how that's pronounced, but that's French. Americanre cast hemp. Working on this, but again, approved by whoever has to approve it in the state of Michigan to say yes, you can do this and it's okay. Hemp house in Michigan going up. Um, so that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I do like that as far as the first goes. We want to see as many hempcrete houses being built as we can in the United States. And license really is important, I think, because the other people think, look, we got this house approved and we built licensing, and so that should speed up that process now of people wanting to be interested because once the first one's done, then everybody's like, oh, okay, great. I don't have to go through as much hassle probably as those people did. Thank you for going through that hassle. Fiber Fort and America's Genre Cast Hemp, I believe, something like that. Um, to get the ball rolling in Michigan and get houses built with hempcrete, more houses built or licensed houses built, wherever you want to do it, one way or another. Um, outer known, which I did not know about. I guess they're so far outer known. Um, their entire line of, I don't know if it's their entire line, I shouldn't say that, but they have a lot of hemp clothing on sale at their website. And it's spelled just like it's pronounced, Outernown, outer known. Um, and again, they've got like a sweatpants, a long sleeve, some t-shirts, and who knows what else is on sale at Outer Known with their hemp line. of clothing. And I think this is a blend too. I don't know if it's organic, but I do believe it's probably a blend with cotton. It's not 100% cotton, which is down the road more and more to see 100% cotton stuff, and it'll be more specific to certain weaves and whatnot. It makes a great jean weave, honestly, but it's tough to get the softness everybody wants in 100% cotton right now still. But it's just a matter of making that fiber fine, super fine, and it can be done because it can be woven as smooth as silk. And so um, that's the way the Japanese used to do it in their kimonos, as we learned recently
Okay.
on the High Noon Hemp Show. All right, we're gonna send you off with a little bit of hemp milk stuff. It's kind of interesting. This is an article, Live Science, um, and so they had all the milk um, substitutes for the most part. But they claim this one to be the best one, especially for omegas. What I think is interesting is the reason that they're down on the bottom there, it kind of says, and you can read it or not read it. The reasons to avoid is that it doesn't have a high protein content, which I find I'm going to have to see some studies there, because hemp seed itself has some of the highest protein out there, and you use the whole seed to make the milk. Now, maybe it doesn't take a whole lot of seed to make hemp milk. Um, and so the fact that because there's not a whole lot of seed in there, maybe, I feel like, I guess if you really wanted to get that protein, and obviously you don't want your milk to be too thick, but it's just water and hemp seed. And a lot of people, you sweeten it with a little bit of agave or whatever kind of sweetener that you want. Now, the other part of this, what I thought was interesting, is the person that commented who was doing these taste tests and whatnot said that they believed that the hemp milk was the one that tasted the most like cow milk, um, which I would almost believe. I mean, almond milk tastes like almonds. I know, and again, depending on what you're using it with, I've never really liked that part of almond milk. Um, Coconut milk has a very slight coconut taste to it. I do like coconut milk. Oat milk. I don't think oat milk maybe has a little oat taste to it, but honestly, I don't really think that oat milk. I think that oat milk kind of, doesn't have much of a taste. And again, cow milk really doesn't have much of a taste. All in all, because again, cow milk, just like most milk, is mostly water. Milk made from a cow, and when you buy it, is a very large portion of water mixed with a little bit of the dairy. And so then that's the same with, I believe, a lot of these alternative milks. It's mostly water and a little bit of whatever you're making the alternative milk out of. And again, maybe because it doesn't take a whole lot of hemp milk or hemp seed to make hemp milk, that you don't get that protein. But hemp is some of the highest amount of protein. And again, I don't know how it can't compete with all the others. And I have to go back now and look and see, honestly. As far as now, maybe it can't compete with the protein in cow milk, which I would still find somewhat surprising, to be honest with you. And so I'm gonna check that out just to really see. I can't imagine that it would have all the omegas in it, which it does have a lot of, and not have the protein in it, which it has a lot of. That science doesn't live science doesn't hold up to my brain there when it comes to that ideology, I suppose, one way or another. So, all right, so let's see here. We just got not a whole lot of events going on, really. July 29th, we have the Pennsylvania Hemp Festival in Kersey, Pennsylvania. August 18th and the 20th, you get the Southern Hemp Expo in Nashville, Tennessee. That's a big one. August 27th, 28th, you have the 8th annual Blessing of the Hemp in Saranac, Michigan. And then September 24th, Planet Hemp in the Holler, another Hemp in the Holler. Maybe they're going to do 2 of these a year, which is kind of cool, which is at the Kentucky Music Hall of Fame and Museum in Mount Vernon, Kentucky. All right. Well, normally I close the show with Ask Beach Anything or a Beach Thoughts, which I don't really have either of. No one asked me any questions this week. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. Um, and, I tend to kind of added that beach thoughts later, but then I realized that, I kind of put my beach thoughts out there during the show. The news segment should be news and commentary.
That's right.
Because it's not just the news, it is the commentary as well. It is my thoughts on these things. And so, well, that was a pretty short show this week. We've been doing pretty good to go almost an hour this week. We're going to get you out of here, get you on your day without much more news, one way or another. So appreciate everybody watching, whether you're watching live, whether you're watching later at any one of the places where you can watch later. And remember, reduce, reuse, recycle. Make everything else out of hemp. Having hemptations.
See y'all next week.